Alright, wait for some people to join. Looks like everything's good. There we go. Got some people in now. Notification. I'm going to call it notification, gang. Angus, Andy, Husk, Jude, Biggie, Buggy, AFL Edits, Bob Bell, Geelong Cats fan 21, Soccer, AFL Galore Jack. Yeah, if you just joined, say something in the chat. I'll read your name out. Corey, Will, Mark, Big Dogs. For any of you that were on my stream earlier, you guys wanted me to do something like this after the stream. So yeah, finally got around to doing it. I wanted to start it a bit earlier, but I had to fucking drop my sister's friend off somewhere, some whole bullshit, but that's okay now. All is sorted. Footy fan, Skipper, Baden. It's been a while since I've done a proper sit-down footy chat stream, to be honest. No wildcard round. That seems to be the common. That seems to be the common viewpoint from most fans at the moment. I'd say maybe. I'm going to check my poll. I'll put up a poll. I'm going to say like 15 to 20% were in favour. What are we at right now with the responses? Oh yeah, 20 to 80. Yeah, 20-80. So there seems to be a 20-80 split. Yo, Cardi, can I play you in AFL 26? I'm getting my PlayStation 5 for Christmas. Well, how are you going to play me then if you haven't got your PlayStation yet? I've got an exciting AFL 26 bit of content coming out, like hopefully a weekly series, stream series at some point, hopefully rolling out late November. What I thought on this stream we could do, so we could chat about all the latest AFL stuff, like Wildcard week and how that'll work. But I also thought it'd be sort of interesting, since Fixtures coming out soon, we could do our own little mock round one fixture. What I think is the right round one fixture. I was thinking about doing it as a second channel video. We could create it on the stream and get people's feedback in the chat, what they would like. But we had that for round one, and we have like maybe a gather round one. I think gather round would be interested to have a look at as well. I know gather round and round one should be released soon, but they haven't released it yet. So, I mean, I guess we'll wait. I think it'll probably be Tuesday if they're going to do Thursday for the 4-1. I'll bring up the article. I'll bring up the article. And I'll try not to go on for too long tonight, to be honest. Just like, I'm not going to do it for the sake of it. Either I'm going to have to hold the mic, or I'm going to have to do this. Is the audio okay if I leave it here? I'm setting it up on a stand. I'll just bring up this article. It doesn't really matter, does it? Annie would do. You can tell how dead November is. I posted a video on Thursday. It's gotten 40. I actually quite like that video. I saw it. It's dead. No one's really doing much, to be honest. No innovation yet. What are the chat saying? Are you going to do December thing where you upload them? Nah, I won't be doing that. But I'll try to upload more for members. But I'm not going to be doing that. I'd rather put more time into other stuff. It'll be better off for the channel, for longevity. Funny how if wildcard round was made a few. Actually, yeah, I should put the live chat in the stream as well. Yeah, all right, give me a sec. So I can easily read it. Oh, I got actually quite a bit of it. Just put it on the bottom. That works. I was watching some NBA creators and I thought it'd be cool. It could still do okay.
I wouldn't completely write it off yet as it not getting anyone else to tune in. We can do fixture stuff in a bit. I've got a few ideas for the Studio Rant video on Wildcard. Going to go crazy. He might be in favour of it. Who knows? I'm just saying the majority don't like it because I don't reckon that we can actually read the whole article. Well, let's just read this article. So I assume everyone knows now that they have implemented the wildcard week or wildcard rule, whatever they want to call it. I think it's probably going to be just the wildcard round. That's what I want to call it. That's how I've been calling it anyways. So it looks like there'll be 10 teams. So they reckon it'll be a 10-team final series, but I still think it's an 8-team final series. I don't really know if you count wildcard round as the finals. I don't think it's a proper final. So we'll see how the AFL view it, but I hope it doesn't consider itself as a proper final because it really should just be the normal elimination final, like top 8. So whoever makes it through the next round. I don't think they're going to count it, but maybe they will. Not actually sure yet. They haven't announced it. Or if it'll just be separate as a post-season game. But I wonder if it'll contribute to the finals record, because people have been saying if Essendon somehow make it into this slot and win, does that count? You say the game's gone, but you're still going to be watching it. I don't know how many fans this is going to completely turn away, but I really don't think it's going to turn many away. I think they're still mostly going to watch it. We could see someone like Melbourne or Port Adelaide sneak in the 10th. Or any other side, really. Well, we didn't even finish top 10 the last 2 years, Andy, but it shouldn't matter. It's just sort of annoying because if we could finish 7th or 8th, and that weren't technically guaranteed finals. So just aspire for top 6. Maybe they'll help us aspire for higher. It is a final still. But not really a final because it's during pre-finals bye. But what is this article say? I haven't even read the full thing. The top 6 teams would have a bye before the normal schedule resumes with a typical round of qualifying and elimination finals played. Teams will be reseeded after the wildcard. We kind of already know how it works, don't we? 7th will play 10th. 8th will play 9th. A team finishing 7th as the Bulldogs in 2016. Yeah, so if you're finishing below 6, you're not going to win the flag. I'd almost put a line through it doing so. You're not going to win 5 games, especially if you finish below 8th, because if you're an in-state side, you could be having to win 5 away finals in a row. And I don't think that's realistic in the slightest. They're still calling it top 8, but people call it top 10. I'm still they are going to start calling it top 10 because there's no use in worrying about finishing in the top 8. It's either you finish top 6 or you finish top 10. It's just playing for a home final or even a home wildcard round game. You want to be top 6, but all the sides in the top 6 are ever going to be the sides that win the flag anyways. You very rarely win it from outside the 4 and very rarely even more from outside the 6. The Dogs did it though in 2016, obviously being the outlier. I'm just skipping through a few chats here, but if there's any that I've missed that I want to read out, I will. I like what Caden said about it. Adds more spice and less dead rubbers. It will add more spice, but I don't know. Just you wouldn't want a side that's non-deserving of that spot. Like, you know, a really good battle, but then 10th place just, you know, doesn't deserve to be in. But I guess if there are 3 or 4 sides vying for that 10th spot, it makes it more interesting. More games are more relevant, but sure, they're not going to be doing any damage. You wouldn't want it to lose to a side who is 10th if you finish 7th or 8th. A lot of people are saying it rewards mediocrity with this as well, which I can understand why. However, I don't know if I've said this, but I did want it put in place when 20 teams were here. I don't think 18 makes sense massively because you've got more teams that can make the finals than don't in a year, if you're counting this as the finals. Next year's going to be either really shit or really good. The only thing that separates them for me is the scoreboard. What does that mean? I suppose teams will be more competitive and try to. Yeah, there'll be more to play for in the final round. So I guess ultimately it might be something that fans get used to and actually aren't as angry about. But we'll see if we'll see if that's the case. Maybe it's going to be like opening round where just no one will stay wanting it. Uh, yeah, it's been massive shock, AL. When it got announced, I thought the guy in the chat that announced it was just taking the piss until I obviously had a look and realized that it wasn't a piss take. I'm gonna go back to just the current chat. I probably missed all the old ones. Just put them in again if you want. I just want to hear people's thoughts, and then we'll soon try and crack into a round one fixture and a gather round fixture because I think that could be quite interesting for the people in the chat. The VFL have been doing it for 2 years, but they've got 22 teams, and it's the VFL. Or do they have 21? But they have like a few extra teams, and it's the VFL. But I think we've saw a pretty good game. Was it this year? A wildcard game in the VFL. Williamstown's finished 10th, so 10th has beaten 7th. I don't expect it to have it very often. What the scoreboard looks like on TV. I disagree, mate. I think the scoreboard's fine. I think it's probably better. It needed a change. I don't know why you think the scoreboard's the big problem. It was an overrated, I guess, non-issue from a lot of the fans when it was changed this year. If a wildcard round was in this year, the last few rounds of the home and away, all the final teams would have been confirmed. Yeah, true. Because 10th place was Sydney, so it wouldn't have made any difference. Yeah, people were talking about needing a wild card round with a few weeks to go, but it wouldn't have ended up making much of a difference. But yeah, you'd think there'd be more teams fighting for a spot. There'd probably be like 12 teams in the last round, maybe fighting for a spot. Would that mean, like, if I do my ladder predictions, maybe there won't be as many angry comments because I've got more teams that could make finals. Because I could have a team 10th, predict a team to finish 9th, and still like go on to win a semi. And I could see that happening. Right, what do we got here? If Frankston finished 12th, could they win the league? Frankston, well, we're not talking about the same league. They no. Finished 12th, will they still win the league? The wild card goes down to 10th spot as well in the VFL. Benjamin says, when Tassie comes in the fixture, it needs to be you play everyone once plus gather round and arrive round, which I don't want them to reduce the amount of games played, though. I personally wouldn't want them to do that. I just leave it as... They don't need to do that. Just leave it as it is. They're going to play each other once regardless. They're not going to want to reduce the season, given what the AFL have done as in the last couple of years. I can't see that being a case, especially after this. Will you make fixture yourself again? Like, no, I'm not going to make a full fixture because the fixture's coming out this week. There's no point. But I will try and give a crack at making round one and gather round. Opening round's kind of cool. I think wildcard round's better than opening round. I don't really think opening round's kind of cool at all. I think it just ruins momentum for everyone in the first 5 or 6 weeks. You don't want buys starting off the season. I don't like how, yeah, there are buys. Some teams play, some others don't play, and it's its own round. Yeah, the only positive, I've said it before, that, yeah, footy starts a little bit earlier. Shit, I've missed out on all these chats, man. Octa says, I don't care what anyone says, I love opening round. Because it benefits Sydney for you, but thank you for the membership. It's because it benefits Sydney. There's a dono I missed as well. Bro, what about the Richmond Ninth song? Well, it's already been irrelevant for a while. It's just going to be even more irrelevant, I guess. Of course, the AFL table's got to stop. Well, yeah, I mean, I think if you mean on the website AFL tables, they don't call it opening round. They call it round 1. Because it doesn't make sense. I think that's what they put in, yeah. Opening round or round of 0 makes no sense and has no value. It's ignored, but they still have to put the games in. Oh, it definitely makes it more exciting, Big Bud. Skipper, I also think they ruined opening round anyways. Having Pies Saints wasn't... I thought that as well, but I actually like having that game in that spot. I don't hate that, but just to start the season the week earlier, I don't know. I like having it at a good time slot, though. It's actually a really good time slot, like the day before the Labor Day holiday, the night before. Round 24 is irrelevant. How is round 24 irrelevant? What the fuck does that mean? Check the view account. Do you want me to put it here so you can see it? He's going to stop updating it. When was that discussed? Since when's that been confirmed? Why would he not include the result? He's got to whoever runs the site's going to include every result, regardless of it being opening round. You're very funny, Flair. Seriously. It's even when I went though to opening round this year, it was cool, but it wasn't. I wouldn't say it was insane. Perfect opening round would be to have 9 games, 2 Queensland, 2 Sydney, 1 WA. Well, have 1 in Tassie when the Tassie team rolls in. Yeah, it'd make more sense having Like I feel like WA of all states are the ones that miss out most. So they don't have a gather round, they don't have opening round. Victoria have already games every single week, multiple games, so they are missing out. I would like to see WA get something. It wouldn't shock me that they're probably going to at some stage roll out another gather round and give it to Tassie, and I'm almost certain they'll do that at some stage. And they wouldn't give it to WA because of the travel. Basically, it's a round before fight. What's it, Spooky saying? Is he trying to I can't see his comment. Maybe it wasn't directed to me anyways. Yeah, okay. WA's State of Origin, but that's like the least most relevant of all. It's because not part of the season. It's just the one game that I don't know how many people actually really care. But yeah, I kind of forgot about that. When is it? Like Feb? It's mid-Feb, right? It's quite early in the year. I don't think playing footy in WA mid-Feb is a very good idea. It's going to be bloody hot. I also don't think having footy played in Brisbane or Queensland, like first few rounds for a day game, is a good idea either. I wonder what others think about that. Just make week 1 be played everywhere and call it opening round. Just call it round 1. I don't think there's a league in any other sport that doesn't have the first round. Feb 14. Yeah, I thought it was Feb 14. Valentine's Day. Well, I can have a very good guess that I won't be doing anything that night. Are you excited for the fixture? I hope Collingwood play. Yeah, fixtures, personally, always been more exciting than draft week. Maybe because at least this week, I have, like, with all the draft stuff, it hasn't got any direct correlation with St Kilda or anything like that. I'll definitely do a fixture video when it's out, like the day of, so you'll get something at least. But you get more views if you did feud reviews. I'm not here to try and get views for that. AFL should do one big week of bye, and they can have some sort of an all-star. Yeah, but I don't think they'll do that. What, mid-year? But then it's not really a bye. No sides properly get a bye because all the star players are still constantly having to play every single week. Did the Telstra ad do well? I don't know. Actually, I've not checked the channel. So I've got no idea how it went on the YouTube, but I know it's done alright on Instagram. Thursday, you should do food reviews over the AFL break period. I don't want to do food reviews. I'd rather do other stuff, mate. Do the Legends game in the bye week in the middle of the season. Nah, Well, actually, yeah. Where are they going to do the Legends game? Oh, I think I know what's going to happen. I think they probably still have a Legends game Thursday night. Friday night, the first wildcard game. Saturday night, the second wild. Essentially, this fucks the AFLW over a little bit more because there's less attention on it. I assume the AFL Women's will still be played that week. It makes me wonder if they'll actually have an AFLW wildcard round. I doubt they need that. But there's still not enough rounds in the season to warrant one of those wildcard weeks. A bit like NBA's All-Star is what they're thinking. No, you don't want in 10 years' time for everything about the... You don't want... They're going to start bloody introducing the lottery draft. Like, fuck that. All right? You don't want everything from the NBA transferred to the AFL. What's the time? It's 9:20. All right, in 10 minutes, we're going to crack our way at figuring out how I think round one, or what I would like to see for round one. I know this will be the first game. This shouldn't say the Adelaide Oval. I'll just... I could just leave this here, to be honest, for now. Maybe get the questions rolling. Game's gone. The game's gone, but you're still going to be watching the game. A very overused phrase. Who do you want to play? Who do I want to play and gather around? I don't want to play any of the SA teams. Because it's a slightly unfair. I don't really know if they're going to continue having the Vic teams play the SA teams, or like they should just have Adelaide. I reckon they should have Adelaide Brisbane for the first gather round game. We'll talk about that later on though. For All-Star, they can do a skills challenge. Nah, they're not going to need to do that. The worst thing about the wildcard round is that the Bulldogs 2016 flag is now even more impossible. Yeah, but the storyline would be even greater if a team from 10th wins it. Fucking imagine that. A team chooses to do badly for the second half of the year just to try and win it from the most outrageous position. Maybe it'll happen, but I don't know if it's a guarantee that this whole wild week, card week, whatever, actually stays. Maybe they get rid of it when a new CEO comes. But I don't think they should get rid of it if it's in place now. They'll probably just keep it for the 20 teams. In 10 years, the bottom 10 will have their own final series. It's cooked. It's what the futsal league that my mates play in. If they don't qualify in like the top 4 or top 6 or whatever, there's a bottom 6 final series. So that would actually be quite funny. But I don't think there's any league that does that, like professional league, that has its own finals for the bottom 8. And who would give a fuck? You should do Pies Cats Friday night, round 1. It'll be Essendon Hawthorn. I may as well lock that in. I think they have locked it in, actually, and it should be the Friday night. It'd be one of the few Essendon Fridays and Thursdays I would give, but I think that's kind of what you lock in. I'll not be watching the AFL anymore. This is Blake, by the way, saying this. We know he's saying that, but I'm sure he'll watch games next year. I'll keep going down. I am missing lots of chats here, so I'll just try and see whatever comments are of good value. Why do they call it wildcard when it's a plane? I like the name wildcard more. I guess I don't know if it's more of a unique way of calling it, but it is essentially just a plane. You are right. Pies v Port. I think Pies v Port should be the gather round. Collingwood might not get given an SA club though, because they want to save it for another fixture, because then they know it's going to draw in a big crowd regardless. So they don't want to waste the biggest Vic club and an SA team and gather around. But I think that, to be fair, they should do it. They should definitely have to share the load. Brisbane have never played. Yeah, I know. Brisbane never played in the AO during gather round. In 5 minutes, we'll get through it. I'm still not minding reading some of these comments. I was thinking Brisbane came 10th and could win it for sure. Adam says wildcard weekend is August 28th to August 29th, with All Stars on Wednesday, August 26th. Sorry, what? Because you put in another comment on a previous stream that wasn't true. Why would they have? Why would they schedule that on a Wednesday? This is just adding an extra round of finals. Yeah, but I'm not calling it finals because I don't think you should call it finals. It's not proper finals yet. It's to get into finals. Planes aren't like playoffs in the NBA. They're the play-ins. So it's not finals. So if Essendon make it and win it, they don't. That doesn't count. Not a finals win. It's a wildcard win. Call it that. I wouldn't really say that technically is that true there, Footy Flicks. Why don't you have I'd actually prefer opening round if it was kind of like gather round in New South Wales and Queensland, and they just had like all 9 teams play up there, and have them play like in some random grounds. Like what would be a random ground up in Queensland? Um, there aren't really many options though. If you wanted to have a gather round in Sydney, you've got like North Sydney Oval. No, not no wait, North Sydney Oval, I think it is. You could play maybe a game at Acor, but I don't know. Kazales, but that sort of defeat the purpose if you have them like fun. But you could do that. Yeah, you could have a game in Kazales. It would mean it'd be a lot more difficult for people to go to like heaps of games because you wouldn't travel to like if you have it up in Queensland and New South Wales, you wouldn't be able to go to all. But I'd actually rather see that. But it'd be strange. But you could have Kazales. You have 2 shit clubs up there. Are you a fan of the planes in the NBA, Blake? They'll try to give Port Adelaide an easy fixture because they finished 13th. Well, they will get an easier fixture because they will get the bottom 6 bracket. So they'll play, I think, at least 2, but they could get up to 3. Or is it at least 3? They'll get at least 2 teams in the bottom 6. So they'll probably get like North twice again. They should get North twice. North should finally play Port at Marvel. Give Jason Horne-Francis a chance to finally get the booze. Because the North fans have been waiting for a few years now. Yeah, people have been asking about full fixtures. It was a fun project, but I didn't really get much value out of doing it. To be honest, it was just like spending hours and hours and hours on getting nothing with it really, because it was just guessing games. Yeah, the value wasn't there for it. It just took way too much time. Like I started that in like probably July and August, and I had to obviously help with someone else with me for like the whole time. We only just got it done before the fixture was released as well. Much more difficult the second time round than the first time round as well. But we put more effort the second time round. Because it's different with NBA, you never get one-off playoff games. I guess, yeah. How many is it for the Plains? Or how many games do they play? It's just different with the NBA because you can play more games consecutively in short duration. All right, 9:30. Should we start off with the trying to not really predict? Well, kind of predict, but more just have a little fun crack at trying to create a round 1 fixture. Should we go gather round first? We'll only do those 2 rounds. I feel like it's meaningless to do every round, and you're not going to get anything accurate if you do every round. We're not here for that long. We'll go on for another hour. So we'll see what people want. I'm pretty confident I know what the times and dates and times will be for the 2 rounds, but for round 1, you sort of have a rough idea. I can go by last year, or 2025, whatever you want to call it. Why is my screen moving like that? Can you guys see that? I've clicked on my screen. It's just moving up by itself. Is that like a new OBS glitch? 1 game playing. All right, well, there's one game then. I don't think it makes a massive difference then, Blake. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Blaze. Let's start with round one. I reckon let's start with round one because we'll start with the sooner round, I guess. I would say it's going to be Friday night, Essendon, Hawthorn. That's what I'm feeling. Sort of like last year. What the fuck is this? It's not just OBS. It's every single... Do Indigenous round. Nah, I'm not going to do Indigenous round. There were 2 Indigenous rounds, so I'd have to do 2 rounds for that. There's no hype yet for that. There's no need. Fuck sakes. Do Collingwood v Melbourne. Fuck. Sorry, I'm trying to get these two. Well, let's just start with Friday, and I think let's all agree. I think this is what they're gonna do, and it'll be I think they're gonna do 7:50 again. So, or was it? What was it last year? Was last year on a Thursday time slot 7:30? Yeah, okay, and this was 7:40. So Friday, March 13th. I think it'll be 7:40. I'm gonna predict 7:40. So 7:40 it'll be. They haven't said anything about changing dates and times. They've already changed them enough. Jack McRae got delisted, someone said. Well, you're a St Kilda fan. I'm going to just in case, because I have seen crazier things, but why on earth would they delist him? Why would you say that, actually? Who knows? Friday the 13th. Ooh, spooky day, the 13th. First game 7:30. Second game. Oh, all right. What do we feel? Let's actually What will the time slots be for the round one? So you'd have 4 Saturday games. The first one would probably be it's a 1:20. It would be a 1:20. Let's just get the time slots worked out first, I reckon. Fuck's sakes. Geelong v Freo. I don't really want to repeat too many games. Like, we've already got another version of Essendon v Hawthorn. Let's just put them down, and then we'll let's get the time slots all sorted first, so we sort of have a fair idea of what it's going to look like, so we can plan it out a bit better. So it'd be a 1:21. Saturday, March 14th. It might not be at the G. For some reason, the font I'm using doesn't let me actually put down the number 4. It's sort of a pain actually having that. Guess I'll just have to copy and paste. It's a bit silly. It's whatever though. It works. Geelong v Collingwood. So remember, it's not going to be Saturday night prime time anymore. What I would love it if Freo Gold Coast played in round 1 again as a rematch. But I had to read somewhere. Someone needs to fact check this. Optus Stadium might be out of action because of an Asian Cup. Now, is that true for round 1? because that would mean that both WA clubs would have to play away to start the season, which would put a spanner in the works. It might mean that they have to play 2 home games the week after, because it's normally alternate. You'd have no Mars. I wouldn't even have a Mars game. I wouldn't even have a Mars game this year, to be honest. I think it's still just wait till it's finished. It could be finished next year, actually. Maybe it is finished, but I don't think a round 1 Mars game makes sense. You want to start the season at Mars for the Bulldogs as a home game. Freo Adelaide. You want good matchups, but you want the shit teams to also have a chance of getting an early win. I think that's how the AFL seem to want to sort it out. Hands over wouldn't be done early in the year, I wouldn't have thought. Let's just continue these time slots. Let's just do the next one, which would be a 4:20 game, I believe, or it could be 4:35. Let me just check what it will be. I assume it will be exactly the same as last year. And 4:15 one. All right. So 4:15. Could be Pies v Dogs again. That wasn't a round 1 game last year. That was round 2. Remember, it could be a lot of these options that I've been seeing in the chat, but I'm gonna pick the one I think I'd want to see most and the one I'm thinking makes the most sense. But is Optus going to be out of action? That's what I want to know, because if it is going to be out of action, then they'll have to wait to play a rematch. But I think Freo v Gold Coast would be quite cool. It would make sense. I wouldn't want Gold Coast v North. That'd be a shit game. Like, you don't want a game between one side that'll be a lot better than the other team, and also having that game not attract a huge fan base. Crom v Giants round 1. All right, let's keep going. Let's just keep going. Get all the other times sorted first. There's probably an easy way of doing this, to be honest, but 7. So this would be Saturday night. There'll be 2 Saturday night games, I believe, and I'm not sure why they have it on the exact same time. Literally, not even minutes apart. 7:35. So Saturday, March 14. If you've joined the stream and you have anything to add on the whole wildcard week debacle, feel free to put in the chat and I'll read it out. Or I'll at least try and get to it. You know what? I'm just going to use another little font for the 4. I can't be bothered. Nah, it looks shit though. I'd save Collingwood v Adelaide, to be honest. But I actually think Collingwood Adelaide's a good call. Now, what are people's thoughts on a show? I've always wanted to see a showdown round 1. I wanted to see it last year. Didn't happen. Wouldn't it be good for the SA fans to have a chance of watching their team play, both teams play regardless? I wouldn't want to play. So they could have the Adelaide Oval game. This could be the really early game. It was 12:35 last year. Let's just go back on the base. That'll be similar. So let's just go 12:35. Sunday the 15th. Collingwood Adelaide will be the first game of gather round, I reckon. I think it could be that. I could see it being that, but I could also see him wanting to save it. Wanting to save it for a better time slot. But yeah, for gather round, we could always think of it maybe being that as instead. So I wouldn't have Collingwood Adelaide round 1. All right, so it's a 3:20, and then there's a 6. It's 6:10, is it? I'm checking on my phone. Let's say it is 6:10. Let's start filling in the blanks. Because I was gonna do this for a second channel vid. Could be something you could do now, and then I'll go through them in more detail. So I think this is what it's gonna be. Do they ever play? It makes sense why their WA matches are on the last time slot of the day because of the time difference. But I still want to. So if Western Australia are going to be having that Asian Cup qualifier thing, I need someone to find out for me, because then there's no point in putting it in. The AFC Women's Cup. Will that mean that they would be out of action? What's the timeline looking like for that? I might as well look it up actually. AFC Women's. So looks like we've got the Asian Cup. Alright, yeah, so it's over a 3-week period that will be spanning during the first round of the season. I'm looking for the fixture here, because they'll tell us if the games are going to be already scheduled at so-called ground. So 13th, 14th, 15th. 13th, 14th, 14th, 15th. This is they're saying Perth Stadium, Perth Rectangulars a goal. Is it confirmed then that they'll be out of action? Just want to know if they'll confirm it. They haven't really said anything about not confirm. Oh, there's me. Maybe they will have a game at Optus. I want to see Fremantle take on Gold Coast. It'll have to be last game of the day, because that's 3:10 o'clock. You're not going to have a 6 o'clock game on a Sunday before a non-public holiday. It doesn't make any sense. All right, let's go. Let's just start from the start. So obviously Essendon, Hawthorn, Carlton, Richmond, most likely. I'd not lock that in. I'd probably say definitely. You could do. Does Brisbane want to? Brisbane might get a Saturday night game. Let's just see reasonings in the chat. I don't want to see Brisbane Geelong. If they're not going to have an opening round, wait maybe a bit longer. Wait longer. Skinny says, I think wildcard round's not great. Yeah, I agree with your comment there on having them wait a little bit longer so there's more teams in the league, but they've rolled it out now, so not much we can do. Dogs for it. North definitely will be Saturday 1:20. Oh, they weren't last year. Where were North last year? They were actually Saturday night against the Bulldogs. We have added not much to this fixture, to be honest. Q Clash. Crows, Sydney. What do you guys actually want? Like, I assume these are what you guys would want to see. Everyone protest at AFL House and say no world. Yeah, do that. I'm sure that's going to be a good idea. I'm sure that'll work out well. Work out in the favour that you guys want. Geelong v GWS. Yeah. Why not? Geelong Giants. Maybe a twilight fixture. I think that'll work best for GWS Geelong. And you want it to be a Geelong home game. I think Geelong probably deserve a home game given they had a good year. I think Skipper said that, and I kind of like that. You'd have it at GMHBA as well. Who else would the Giants play? They'd have a good rivalry between them. Gold Coast Dogs. Mate, they play off an opening round. Oh, no, they don't. Actually, you're right, they don't. I wouldn't have Gold Coast Dogs. We've got to figure out what grounds as well. So there'd be probably another game in Melbourne. Maybe another 2 games in Melbourne. I like that one though. St Kilda v Bulldogs. Yeah, I think that makes a bit of sense. Melbourne could play Gold Coast. Melbourne could play Gold Coast. Would see Petrarca against his old side early in the year. I'm thinking that could be an option. Freo v Western Bulldogs. Now I think Freo always get the first. Do they normally get the first? Well, I don't think it matters actually if they get the first game. It is actually normally West Coast that get first game on the Sunday. March 1 on your fixture needs to change to March 14. I know, it's just the... Look, I can't put down the 4 key, so I'm just leaving it for now. Saints Port Saturday night. I like that. I actually don't mind that. I don't think Dog Suns will play at Marvel. Shit. Oh, what have I done there? Let's figure out the Adelaide. Let's go Adelaide Oval time slot. I think it'll be. I reckon it'll probably be another early game because Adelaide have the time difference. Oh, actually, it probably doesn't matter, does it? You wouldn't want a Queensland game early, so you want the Queensland game being late. So I'm gonna give Brisbane the home game. I'm gonna give Brisbane the home game, and I'm gonna give Gold Coast an away game. It's too early. Needs to be a Dogs home game as Dogs are away for opening round. Not necessarily. You can have 2 away games in a row. But if you guys think that, because I saw a few people say the Bulldogs play the Saints, that could work. Grand final rematch. You wait for that, and I think GWS v Geelong will be better contest anyways. I'd be more excited for that in my opinion. Dogs don't need to be home round 1, but I'll give them the home game. I just did, but they don't need to be. Are Saints going to play Dogs on Easter Sunday? I don't think that's a guaranteed matchup every single year. I wouldn't want it to be, not after what we just saw. Lions v Port. Let's figure out what's happening with the shit teams though. North Melbourne. So this might need to be an MCG game. North Melbourne playing Tassie. They'll play either a home game or they'll play an away game. It couldn't be Richmond. No thanks, support spot. I hate the Gabba. I wouldn't want to see that game. I feel like if we've seen it before, round 1, Brisbane v Port. Collingwood will play on a Saturday night. Nah, Collingwood might need a good time slot. Maybe a 3:20 game. I think give Collingwood an MCG game. You sort of want to do that round 1. Last year they did get a Saturday night. Give them this is Channel 7. Who would be best suited to play the Pies at the MCG? 3:20. Collingwood West Coast would be a bit of a shit game. Be a waste of a round. You want genuine good matchups round 1. I can say there's a reason this is matchup anyways. You know, it's always opening game. Carlton Richmond. All the Zach Merritt talk. Classic games at GMHBA. I think could be good. 2 Marvel tenants. And Collingwood need to find a good opponent. Maybe Adelaide. Like someone said before. I could if Adelaide Freo. Nah, I don't know if I want them to put a game with the D's. Swans, 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 Swans. Can we have two away? Can you have two games away from Sydney? That'd be a good game. Collingwood v Sydney. It happened round 1 a couple years ago. But I wouldn't hate it. Fill in the blank then. Chuck the Swans in. Chuck it in then. I'll chuck it in. They're saying Pies v Freo. Well, I'm trying to figure out who Freo could play. This could be Adelaide Freo maybe. But I don't know if you want to have oh no, it doesn't really matter. I could see this maybe being Adelaide taking on Freo. Because I think that could be a good game. Did they play last year? Did they play last year at the Adelaide Oval? I don't think they did. Can't be Pies Tigers. Tigers will be playing Carlton. They did. Freo play the 6-10. Well, I don't know actually if they're playing a game at Optus in round 1 because of the Asian Cup or whatever you call it. So because of that, I'm thinking, well, fuck, what do we do with the other game? The last game, will that be at Optus? Will we have to change the time slot? Will West Coast have to play an away game? If that's the case, I don't really want Brisbane playing West Coast round 1. Because I want to actually see if I can nail a few of these other games just out of the pure guesswork. I think Gather Round will be fun to do next. We'll have a crack at Gather Round and we'll be real. We need to reward teams with good form and all that shit. And I don't want to do any double up, so I'm not going to pick up double up games that have happened before. Brisbane Port, Brisbane North. Now, Brisbane North would suck. I don't think Brisbane North at the Gabba would be enticing Saturday night game. At all, personally. So who do we have left? We have, if we had the teams left, we have Melbourne, Brisbane v Gold Coast could, but I think that's going to be a Labor Day Q clash later in the year. So you wouldn't have Gold Coast v Brisbane for those that are saying Brisbane Gold Coast. Gold Coast, who could they play? I wouldn't. Oh, they have to play away. I'm not giving them an early time slot. I was just going to say Melbourne v Gold Coast. Because you got Petrarca against his former team. I think we'd be happy with that. Brisbane v Melbourne. Melbourne Gold Coast makes more sense. And it's at home. So that the fans can boo Petrarca. If they want to. I don't know if they will. They probably respect him. But Melbourne Gold Coast. It's the 1:20 game, Saturday afternoon. You get the family to the game because a lot of D supporters are like that. The Jordan McCleary Cup. That's how I'll put it. Port played West Coast in round 1, 2024. Look, just because that happened doesn't mean it can't happen again. I'm still not sure about this last fixture though, to be honest. With the teams we've left out on now have been North Melbourne, Port Adelaide, and there's another one. What's that other team? There's another team we've left out on. North Melbourne, Port Adelaide, and West Coast. West Coast North kind of makes sense because it's two shit teams. Which means you'd have, what was the other team? Port. So, it is a kind of a crappy time slot. But this could be a close game. Having West Coast North to finish off the round. And then Brisbane might just have to play Port Adelaide. Tough luck. I mean, I don't really want to play Bulldogs round 1, Blake, at all. But kind of makes sense. And you also want to have the teams that from Melbourne play Melbourne as well. Like every team except for North here would be playing in Melbourne. Bunbury, you said Asian Cup. Well, I don't know, mate. I don't know. I don't know if they're fully eliminating it from this spot. If that's the case, we'd have to flip it around, and it'll be North Melbourne have the home game. But I don't know. So what would you say? Do we give West Coast the home game? Do we give North the home game? Do we change the time slot to like 5:10? You'd have to change it to 5:10. You're not going to get a 6 o'clock game at fucking North Melbourne, West Coast. Eagles can't play North. Well, they can play North. And I'll tell you why they can play North, because they can always just play the Bunbury matchup later in the year. Unless it's guaranteed. Is it guaranteed that North Melbourne play West Coast and Bunbury? I'll look it up. Let's have a look. Because that could be mid-year. Surely you can play early in the season. Let's see. They will probably play mid-year. What does this say? Okay, yeah, it'll be against Freo, it'll be West Coast. And by the way, they're not going to play in Bunbury next year against West Coast. They play Freo and Bunbury, I think. But that could still work, because it'll be like round 13 or round 14. So North can't have the home game. No, yeah, North are not allowed a home game against West Coast, because they're going to have that home game in Perth. So does that mean do we say West Coast probably shouldn't play North then, because they'll already be playing each other in Perth? Maybe true. Yeah, maybe I won't give them that. All right, West Coast won't play North. That probably makes a bit of sense, doesn't it? No, I'll do the full round. We'll do the full round top fix. Who should North play then if they want to play in Melbourne? Because I like a lot of these time slots. You could have St Kilda go to West Coast instead. The reason I say that is because that's who West Coast just beat. So there could be a little bit of a rivalry in that. And then North Melbourne played the Bulldogs. And then the problem's solved. I don't really want to play this at all for our final round of the season. Or game of the round, I should say. Yeah, I was just going to switch that around. I could probably realistically make more sense. I'd be pissed off if I saw this, though, because I wouldn't want to play West Coast late. Dogs already... You can have Dogs in North Melbourne again. Like, it's round 1, not... It's not that big of a worry. If we don't want that to be the case, we can change it. But we can have multiple games. Collingwood West Sydney played round 1 a couple years ago. Essendon Hawthorn, Carlton Richmond. That was last year. Demon Saints. No, Demons Gold Coast I'm keeping that because it makes sense. You want to have him play early. North v Port actually would be kind of good. I would actually prefer to see North Melbourne play Port Adelaide at Marble. Plus, we've only got, how many Marble games did we get in round 1 last year? Oh, we only got 1. Doesn't hurt to go again. Eagles v Suns play in round 1 all the time. Yeah, they've played consecutively also. How about the D's v North at the MCG? Dogs Suns Saturday night. Dogs Suns Saturday night just sounds weird, doesn't it? But actually wouldn't be a bad game with the Joel Jamara shit. Alright, I'll read some more comments. We could just move on, but I'm never really very decisive. I never know what to actually stick with. It's harder to do it when you got everyone in the chat telling me what they think. North Port, North Saints. Do we want to get rid of the Dogs v North clash and change that? Yes or no? Just put it in yes or no. More yeses, more nos. All right, actually, let's do this instead. So let's say Carlton v Richmond. We'll just go in order. Carlton Richmond. Put yes or no. The more we got, obviously, actually, fuck it. We already know those two are fine. Let's start with Melbourne v Gold Coast. Melbourne Gold Coast. I don't know why I even bothered with Carlton or Richmond. It's obvious, and they were always going to go with that anyways. Yes, no, 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 yes. Don't Bulldogs play Brisbane? Yeah, you can't have Bulldogs in Brisbane. Do you want to... Would you guys then prefer to see Melbourne play North and the Bulldogs play the Suns and yeah, that's the swap that I've made. But there's nothing really in Melbourne North at all. And I don't want to see that as a 120 game. That's a bit of a kind of a shit game. Yes. All right, well, they want that. All right, if you think that... all right, fine. If you think that sounds better. Bulldogs v Gold Coast at Marvel would be actually kind of a weird game. When was the last time Bulldogs played Gold Coast at Marvel? It seems to always be like in random grounds like Darwin and Ballarat. I don't really like Brisbane v Port. I don't really like that game. Brisbane Gold Coast can't cross over. Is that true? Like, is that a rule? Or do you just assume that because they're both from Queensland? Jordan also said that, and is that actually you can't have that at all? I might have to change it then. Brisbane should be playing a team that's more competitive. Port won't be that bad, right? Surely. Who would be better off then? I mean, unless you wanted a showdown, but you can't have a showdown on a Sunday 12:35. Lions Eagles. No, fuck Lions Eagles. That's even worse. That's why I'm just gonna say this. I'd be better off just keeping it with North Melbourne. If they can't overlap. You don't want a Queensland game being too early either. I don't like that. We get the venue sorted out. So we originally had West Coast v North. The reason we changed that's because of the whole Bunbury stuff, and that does kind of make sense. So yeah, difficult this can be. I know normally I don't do this stuff with a live chat behind me, but like when I tried to do the whole fixture with 23 other games and you had so many other variables, no wonder it was a pain up the ass. So Adelaide Oval, I don't think it matters that there aren't any Sydney games, to be honest. Because of Brandon Starcevic. I don't think that warrants a round one clash, mate. Brisbane v West Coast shouldn't be the first game. If I did the fixturing, I wouldn't have that. Just because I don't give a fuck that Brandon Starcevic used to play for the Lions. So what? West Coast v Wattle Park. Yeah, just have West Coast play Wattle Park. There we go. Problem solved. You know what? I've got to add a 4 to the end of so people don't question why there isn't a 4. Yeah, the font is a similar font they do use for the footy graphics, and I like the look of it. But for whatever reason, I don't have a 4. They didn't provide me with a fucking 4. So I have to copy paste 4s. It's weird. Lions v Bombers. Can't work for round 1 because it's pretty much a given that they'll be playing Hawthorn. So I wouldn't have Suns be Gold Coast Q Clash, and I'll tell you the reason, because they're gonna have it the day after their own Labor Day or the day before in like round 8. So it's too short of a gap. What font is it? Let's see what font is it. I don't know the name, but I remember the name at least. It is Podium Sharp. Why do you have so many apps open? Well, I don't have. I have OBS open and Photoshop. It could be worse. Tigers Saints round 1. Mate, well, let's throw the teams that can't be in the conversation are Carlton, Richmond, Essendon, Hawthorn. Particularly not Carlton and Richmond. Richmond will be a crap game in Tassie. I don't know if Richmond want to play in Tassie after last year or earlier this year. I keep referring to last year because it feels like last year. Change the Suns game to Saturday night. Well, no, because you can't actually have. Apparently, you can't have the two Queensland sides play same time slot, and I don't want Brisbane to play Port Adelaide at an earlier time slot. I'd like the 7:35. It kind of makes sense. And Bulldogs North Melbourne wasn't too bad last year or earlier this year. I keep saying last year. It wasn't too bad. I kind of enjoyed that game. It was sort of close. What about swapping Fremantle with the Saints? No, you're not going to have a derby round 1 at that time slot. I guess you could, because it's only 3 o'clock for the people in WA, but I wouldn't have it at that time, because then the Victorian viewers are not really going to be as tuned in, I don't think. Yeah, I'll change North to West Coast. Yeah, Carlton, Richmond, North, West Coast. There we go. All right, happy. MCG. I heard someone else say they should do that. It was the season opener one year. There was a year where I think West Coast and North Melbourne started the season. It I believe may have been 1998. Someone needs to fact check me on that one. All right, can we move on to Gather Round, or we got any other opinions in the chat that could be worthy of changing? Well, no. Switch Carlton with Richmond. Richmond got the home game last year, so you just switch it around. That's what they do every year. I think Papua New Guinea should play Richmond. I think Richmond should play in Papua New Guinea. Would there be an oval that would suit footy in Papua New Guinea that would get a crowd of over anything? No, I'm not playing. I'm not going to have Adelaide v Saints again. My rule of thumb is if you have a game round 1 and it's just absolutely a shit game, it's a complete blowout, you shouldn't have that same fixture the year after. And that wasn't the case for the Dogs North game. Are we happy to move on to Gather Round? Because I don't want to be here all night. Like, I kind of wanted to start the stream earlier, but shit happened and I'm a nice guy and I said yes to dropping my sister's friend off because she had no way of getting back. So, yeah, I don't want to end the stream at midnight. Not a thing I'd be too keen on. All right, everyone seems to be quite happy with moving on. I'm going to just copy this so I don't have to do it all again. So it's just a lot easier. This will be Gather Round. We have to change the times and dates, obviously. And I also would want to add some, a nice little image to put in the background. So I'll find that. Alright, Gather Round. Gather Round will be fun. Gather Round will be more interesting because you got all those, all the grounds. So you sort of play with that. What teams haven't played at which grounds? What teams want the prime time? Who gets the AO time slots? I'll just pick this image. It doesn't matter too much. Just any image works. I also, the other day, bought a new presets pack. So I have now so many more different effects for my videos with editing, and it's going to make editing more easy, but it's going to make it a lot more fun, and it should definitely make the videos a bit better. I think they'll be just more personalized. I reckon be cooler. Some cooler effects. A lot easier than having to do them all from scratch, and it just takes forever. Now, Do I want to add a color? Actually, I'll do this. I'll do what I did for this one. Add a 63 opacity. Why are some of them March? Because of the 4 glitch. Yeah, we'll get the right times though. So let's get the right times for gather round. So I think it's a March. No, it's not March. It's April 9. We're gonna do. Yeah, I think we're gonna do local time. So 7 o'clock. Unless it's 7:10 maybe. Could be 7:10. It is 7:10. 7:10 Thursday. And we know where the grounds will be. Now, I want the opinion of you guys in chat. Do you prefer, for the few years we've had gather round, the double game on the Friday or the extra game to be put on the Saturday? It's I guess it's just whatever people prefer really. I prefer the double Friday, actually attended gather round, and someone that could watch more games of footy over the whole round because that was not clashing. Do you get your laptop fixed? It hasn't even been picked up. It's going to be picked up tomorrow. They're really slow, and I have no idea why they're so slow. So I'm using something else, and it's been a pain. I will show you. It is where is my laptop? It's in some bag. Do you get your laptop fixed? It hasn't even been picked up. What the fuck is going on? Poor quality. Yes, something's happening. All right. Attempt two here. Looks like we've run into a problem. And it looks like we're a few minutes behind the actual live stream. And I'm getting 2 and 3 minute old chats. And I've got no clue what the fuck's going on. People are still responding to comments from 3 minutes ago. No, they're not anymore. All right. No, they're not anymore. Yes, something. Right. So the last 5 minutes, no one could hear what I was talking about. I had it all fixed like 3 to 4 minutes ago, but it was still replaying the last 2 or 3 minutes of the stream. So I was just thinking to myself, why is no one responding to what I'm saying? The chats were just still talking about the stuff I was talking about 3 or 4 minutes ago before I started lagging. Well, that's a spanner in the works then, isn't it? Well, it's a spanner in the works if it's still going to be crap. That seems alright now. Alright. Well, let's carry on then, shall we? Gullah, what are you talking about? I don't really want to know, to be honest. Yeah, nah, sorry. I don't know what happened. It was an internet problem and then it became another problem. Maybe it was like the laptop. Because remember, I've only streamed using this laptop once, and it was earlier today. So let's just get the times. Yeah, actually, no one answered my question. Were you guys actually watching the stream before it cut out when I said this? Do you guys prefer the double Friday game or the standalone Friday game? So the extra. Maybe you guys did hear it. I don't know, but I'm just going to ask it again because I want to know what you guys would rather if I made a fixture here. 2 games on Friday or add that, like one of those Friday games to Saturday to have 4 games. So it's personal preference and all, but I was a fan of the 2 Fridays and I thought they shouldn't have got rid of it. And they probably will keep it, but I actually would prefer them to have 2 Friday games again. And they should. Because it avoids clash, like just games clashing and all that. You said that. I didn't see anyone say that. I reckon we lost chats then. Because if people are saying that they already answered it. Oh no, they did answer it. They just answered it whilst it was crashing. So then, alright. All good. It's all fine now. So I'm just going to read the chat real quick. I don't mind the double Friday.
Yeah, all right. We're going to go double Friday again. That was a 440, I think. Well, it could have been a 410. What font do you use on OBS for text on? If you're talking about the font that I used on the stream today, don't use that font. I wasn't happy with it. I just used a font that I had at the time. But I'm not going to stick with that for the future. If you want to know, it was like, I think it was Arial. And everyone has Arial. 440. For your AFL ones. I don't remember. Because I don't own the font anymore. It was on my old laptop and it got deleted. So I genuinely do not remember what it was. Alright, we're going to have to copy that. Bloody 4. I'm not going to know what it is. Sorry, Blake. I probably lost the font, to be honest. What's going on? Just join. We've been talking about the new Wildcard round, if you were in the loop of that. And since we've just been trying to create mock fixtures for the next... Well, the first round of the season and also gather round. But a lot of the fonts I use do this where it won't let me actually type down the number 4. It's because it's a demo font. I think that's why. Trim the edges a little bit. Yeah, it's good enough. Alright, so we'll go the 4:40 Friday game. April 10th. Oh my god. I just ruined the placement of the 4s. Fuck's sakes, this is actually a pain. Yeah, 9th to 12th. So we got the 9th, the 10th. That looks so rubbish, but we'll just leave it. I don't really care at this rate. 7:20. Friday, April 10. Saturday. Oh, what time did the Saturday game start? I'm checking. 1 o'clock. What round will gather and be so you know? You could probably just figure out from like the start time of the year to the times that gather round will be. Gather round will be from the 9th to 12th, and the season starts. Well, round 1 starts on. I've got the dates here, like March 12th. So I think it'll be round 5 again. Round 5, like it was in previous seasons. Scoops is walking around with his shirt the wrong way. Do people still post in that group chat? To be honest, I'm not surprised if they do. Some of the people in that chat. Alright, I'm putting in the last few time slots and then we'll start discussing. The chat right now is garbage. 420. So 350. And 720. No, it was a 740 game. She forgot how late they were. Wispy, thank you, mate. 10 months. Not quite the levels of some that are 50 now, but it's still on the way to that stage. So I appreciate it, mate. Double digits. How about that? Whoops, did not mean to do that. This whole 4 crap is actually a big nuisance. Copying, pasting the fucking letter 4. The number 4. What do I do? I actually... Where are all the chats talking about, like, footy and stuff? Where are they all gone? Yeah. So I think the draft is on Wednesday and Thursday. Who is looking forward to the draft this year? Or who's just sort of completely turned their attention away from it? Because at the moment, I currently need to invest a little bit of time into staying on top of the draft, even a little bit. It, again, doesn't really help how we haven't got a pick in the top 50. Hawks have a decent... Not me. Not me. I mean, Hawks have a decent... Yeah, it's like when the Saints are, even in the first round, I do at least have a double, even if it is before November or like start of November. But I haven't really done that. I've just sort of been out of the loop. But there are a lot of good content creators that I'll be able to keep up to date with, thankfully. So I'll probably... I will do that before I stream it. I'm not going to stream it knowing nothing. And I don't think I cared enough 2023. I was working that year. But that's all right, because Chris streamed it infamously. We all know how that stream turned out. I did like how they had the Gather Round game in 2025 finishing on a Sunday night. Normally they wouldn't do that because it's not before... I don't think it's before a public holiday, but I do believe it is still school holidays the next day. So it's normally something they wouldn't do, but I did like it. So everyone could watch all 3 games in its full. So this is 12:05. But as I'm about to put in the last few dates, just keep in mind what you think you'd like to see games-wise. And make sure to let me know when we get around to chucking them in. So 3:20. And the last game was a bit later, which I did like. It gave me enough time to get from game to game. It was a 6:50 game, Adelaide time. And we can actually also put in the stadiums because we know where the games will be played as well. Sunday night game Gather Round also builds more tension. Yeah, so you want one of the best games to be on. That is actually considered a prime time for the Gather Round. So you want one of the better games on then, definitely. Any graphic designers watching this, just refrain from criticizing too much. This is not normally how I do their graphics. I just am doing this sort of on the spot. So they're not all aligned, but that's fine. That's all right. All right, there we go. We'll just fix the stadium names as well. So Adelaide Oval, that'll be Norwood. This will be Adelaide Oval.
And whatever this is blocking, and I'll get rid of. Go away. How is it not gone? What the fuck? So that's the thing. I didn't even know Cuzzy Pickett had a cousin. I'm that out of the loop right now. It's actually bad as a footy orientated person in myself. So this will be Barossa. I'm just again going off what I think it'll be based on the last few years. This should be Adelaide Oval. Bring back the Adelaide Oval double headers. Because there were elements of this gather end fixture from 2025 that I liked, having the late Sunday game, but don't remove the extra Friday game. Keep it where it is. Do we have any mods in the stream? Can they come out of their shadows? Alright, that actually took way too long. But it's done. Alright, let's start contemplating what we reckon. So it starts on Thursday night. I think Adelaide kick it off again. They deserve it after last year. I think it works. So I'm gonna go Adelaide as the home team for that game. I'm editing. Just get rid of these. Get rid of. I'll give you names. Get rid of Gala Yabi. Get rid of Tranny 1. Get rid of. Yeah, they're probably just those two, to be honest. They've just been putting in garbage the last 10 minutes. I've sort of been sort of blocking the chat with garbage. So yeah, that's, or anyone like Georgia if you're in. Yeah, you can do it. Do you think you'll go to Gatherround again and do some vlogs of games? I'll go to Gatherround again. Just got to release the whole Gatherround content stuff a bit sooner. I want to play. So we're gonna think of when is the Easter weekend? When's the Easter weekend this year? Is it the week after or before? Could be the week after. It's Sunday the 5th of April. So it's the week before. So wait, that would mean that on the Monday. So you couldn't have Geelong play any of the early games. That wouldn't make any sense. That wouldn't work. And you probably don't want to have St Kilda play Friday or Thursday because I think they're going to get the Easter Sunday game again. All right, that's just something to go by. So you can't have Geelong and Hawthorn play until Sunday or maybe Saturday. Yeah, apparently it's true that Vinny's on Big Brother. I didn't know about that till like an hour ago. Good on him, honestly. Might actually watch the show for the sake of him, just in itself. But I don't really watch Big Brother. I assume it's on, or it was on tonight. It was probably the first episode. On the Big Brother, there's a live stream of it. What, like on YouTube, they just do streams? Doubt they do it. Yeah, I doubt that's what you... No, live on 10 and TikTok. They live on TikTok? I'll tune in when I get the chance to. When's the next episode? Nah, fuck. Adelaide are not playing the Giants on Gatherround. The Giants will never play at the Adelaide Oval, nor will the Suns. I don't think they will, at least. I want them to play... I think Collingwood would be cool. Think about the Vic clubs that haven't played an Adelaide State team yet. If they're making it fair, it'll be Collingwood, it'll be North,
it'll be Richmond or it'll be Saints. But I actually would rather be Brisbane. Give the reigning premiers what they deserve, an Adelaide Oval game, and have it start things off, because I'll get a crowd for that. So I think, I mean, I went to Adelaide Brisbane in Adelaide Oval and it was a good game. Have it again. Leave it there. No, save Adelaide Collingwood for another time, because that'll Collingwood will pack out a crowd anyways. I think Collingwood should be the final game. And you probably can't have it against Geelong, but I would not hate seeing Geelong play Collingwood at the Adelaide Oval last game. I wouldn't hate it, but I don't think they would do this. But I actually would like to see it happen. But I don't think the AFL are going to want those two sort of clubs doing it. But I mean, Hawthorn played Collingwood. But I'd want to see Collingwood play the last game again. But it could be Geelong, because they can't play an early game. I don't think West Coast deserve Adelaide Oval, but they might get it because of, big crowd and all that. I think Carlton should get Adelaide Oval game again, I reckon. I think you demote Essendon. Essendon and Melbourne, piss them off to a smaller ground. They wouldn't have two big clubs playing in Gatherand. Well, they had Collingwood and Hawthorn, that's all I'll say. I know Hawthorn wasn't going great. Probably not two successful big clubs. But they did have Collingwood and Hawthorn, and I think they're pretty big clubs. So I was semi-surprised seeing that. No, I'm not doing no games that we've already seen. So Port Adelaide, Essendon, doesn't deserve another game. I actually think Port Adelaide should play St Kilda, because they've never played a team at the Adelaide Oval, the Saints, like a proper S8 club for Gatherand. So I think it's just fair if you recycle it and have it Saturday. So if the Saints play that Sunday night game, they have an extra day as opposed to 5. Geelong and Hawthorn, I need to figure out where they're going to go, though, because they have the Easter Monday holiday. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. It could be Port v Geelong. I could do Port v Geelong, but they played Adelaide already. Give Freo AO. We only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, we have 5. We have 5 AO games, but I think we used to have 6. You'll be watching the NRL and the 2026 World Cup. Well, you could still watch both leagues and the AFL. Surely you're not that sort of person that'll actually stop watching just because of a couple of different rule changes. Like, I do find it crazy that people are like that. What does that really achieve? It's not really going to prove a point. Would it be more realistic to have Port have the final game or Collingwood? No, you could have Port Adelaide have the final game, but who have they played? Geelong? Geelong already played. I don't know how they're going to do it, if they're going to give it to another SA club or like rotate it. But I want Adelaide Brisbane, so I'm left it there for now. Norwood Oval. This probably is going to end up being. I don't know, actually. What could this game be? Let's think of this one. Maybe this could be Collingwood again, and save this for like Hawthorn or Geelong. Maybe that's Hawthorn and this could be Geelong. Sun Saints. Sun Saints, yeah, that could work. But we'll get a crappy ground for that.
I'm just saying, I feel like the only way the Saints will get Adelaide Oval is if we play Port or the Crows, and I think we'll probably only play Port Adelaide. So, that's my guess. Suns v Eagles. I don't want it. What was last year? What was the worst game? I thought Melbourne, Essendon, Carlton. There were actually a few pretty bad games, to be honest. But I brought back, so I ideally would like to bring back the doubleheader. So it could be Port Saints. I could change that, but I just think it's fair. Actually, do you know what game I would like to see? Bulldogs Hawthorn. I don't think that would be a bad final game for Gatherand. They're not massive clubs, but they're enough for me to. Unless you wanted to give Bulldogs Hawthorn this Saturday 7:40 game, and Port Adelaide can play Collingwood, which I'm happy with as well. So I actually, yeah, might be more happy with that. I'm not sure what I'll do with the Saints, but Hawthorn the Bulldogs. Suns Crows. Not B. They're not playing each other in gather round. Skinny says, last year my team, Swans, had Collingwood. I think Swans playing Dogs or Hawks. We could go team by team. So we've already done Adelaide, we've already done Brisbane. Do Carlton warrant Adelaide Oval? I think Carlton Geelong is not a bad game to have in this slot. I think it could be an alright game. For now. Now, we'll move on to Essendon. And then you got Freo. And I think we get rid of this for Collingwood. Collingwood's not there anymore. What other two teams warrant an AO slot? No, I've gone Adelaide, Brisbane. That's my pick. Sydney, maybe. What other teams? Adelaide, obviously. Brisbane, we've done. Carlton, Collingwood. Should we start sorting out some of the shitter games? Richmond won't get AO anymore. They're not going great. That's my pick. That's my opinion. I think you might have to think about maybe giving Freo that Friday night, but I don't know. Freo Hawks I like, but I like Hawthorn the Bulldogs more. Plus, you got to give Hawthorn a Saturday game. You can't give them a Friday game. I think St Kilda are going to get given another. I think they're going to give it another Norwood game. Personally, that's my guess. You're not, mate. You're not going to have Richmond, Essendon playing each other for gather round. Richmond v North. North have never played. Oh no, they have played at Norwood, and they've played at Barossa. This needs to be a decent sort of build-up game. So, what teams haven't been in this slot yet? I don't think you can give a Victorian club. I reckon 2 interstate teams for this game. So, let's go Giants. Who would be the best pick for the Giants? Suns Freo. Everyone wants Suns Freo. We've already seen a Suns Freo game. I don't want to have Suns Freo again. Giants Freo. No, we've already seen. I'm not doing any double ups. I'm no double upping. I don't like double ups for Gatherand. I don't want to double up. I know we've seen double ups before, but I don't want another double up. The Friday night game needs to be a good one. It needs to be a good game. I don't think Essendon and Melbourne deserve it.
Saints Suns 4:40 at Norwood. No, I'm not going to give St Kilda an early game because they might only have a 5-day break. So I might just give them. I might just give them a game in these time slots. 7:20 Friday night game should be Collingwood v Gold Coast. I don't think they're going to give it the Suns Adelaide Oval. They deserve it, but they probably won't. I like Port Collingwood finishing off the round more, in my opinion. Giants Tigers maybe Norwood. I don't think West Coast are getting a Friday night, so I'm just thinking if I've screwed up the Friday night one a little bit. Suns Sydney. I think Sydney should be this. Yeah, I think who could play Sydney? It would probably need to be a Vic club, to be honest. They played Collingwood there. I don't think St Kilda would make sense. Or would it? I'd be happy with that, to be honest, if we played the Swans. Hawthorn. You can't do Hawthorn because they play Monday. They'll have not enough of a break. It can't work, Wispy. I would have maybe picked that, actually. I probably would have picked that. But I can't play Friday. Unless you wanted to do Sydney on the Saturday. Hawthorn, Sydney, Saturday. I'll see if that works. Hawthorn, Sydney. And then on the Friday night, Bulldogs can play. It would need to be a relatively big club. Do you reckon Bulldogs Saints on a Friday night? I just think that's weird. Don't you agree that's weird? It just doesn't it doesn't feel like it should be a game at the Adelaide Oval. But Essendon did play Melbourne. Crows v Swans. I don't mind Crows v Swans, but I want to give them Brisbane. I want Brisbane to be that team. So I actually want to keep that. Saints v Freo Norwood. I still don't think St Kilda should get a Friday game because of the 5-day break. I think we're going to play Easter again. But then the Bulldogs could play Easter again. I'm not sure. Who knows? It's whatever the AFL decide, I guess. All right, let's move on. Let's do this game. I think the Eagles will probably not get another early game. Who should play the Eagles? It can't be North. Why can't Richmond and West Coast play? Or does that feel weird because it's sort of two big clubs? Should that be this game at Norwood for 4:40? It'll impact everyone, Dusty, don't argue. Carlton v Geelong shouldn't be playing in Gather Round. They're not that massive, to be honest with you, of a clash. I don't think it's too big of a game to waste for Gather Round. Again, we've seen Collingwood play Hawthorn. I think they're two bigger clubs together. Yeah, I think they probably are. Why not Melbourne v West Coast? No, I mean, all right. West Coast v Melbourne then. And then Essendon can be at the Norwood Oval there. I wouldn't be surprised if they do like something like Bulldogs v Essendon. Who would Essendon play? Like Gold Coast? I couldn't play Gold Coast. Fuck, who would Essendon play? Dogs v Suns? No, I just don't think you can give the Suns that game. To be honest. They're too small. Essendon v North. But that is weird. That would be a weird time slot. Like that is a Channel 7 game. Essendon v North. Will you do what you did last year when you predicted the whole thing? No, I won't. It was too much effort for not enough of a reward. Like, I can't imagine how long it actually took all in all, but it was at least 30 to 40 hours, probably more. Probably more, yeah, from starting at scratch and I guess combined time spent as well over 50. Port Essendon v North 12:05, then Gold Coast Carlton 3:20 Sunday. Gold Coast Carlton 3:20 Sunday. You reckon Carlton get demoted from the AO? I don't think the AFL would do that. So alright, you want this to be the clash. So who plays Geelong then? I wouldn't mind if the Saints played the Cats. They're shit. Would you rather St Kilda Geelong than Carlton Geelong then? People getting angry that Carlton Geelong shouldn't be gather around. It should be saved for another game. This. Well, then we'll have to figure it out what we're gonna do here. We got Richmond, Essendon, North next. They're the only teams we have left. Now, Dogs Cats already happened. We're not doing double ups tonight. Sydney or GWS get that Sunday 3:20. Giants have had it in the last 2 years. I could switch around the GWS v Freo one, but there are games, like the big games I want to keep. Bulldogs, I think, Friday night, but I don't know who they play. We need to figure out a good team for the Bulldogs to play. A big enough club. And maybe that is Essendon. Maybe Essendon just get given that. But they haven't really deserved all of their Adelaide Oval games, to be honest. Dogs Carlton Friday night, Suns Dons, and Tigers v North. Yeah, I actually would prefer that, Stranger Creator. I'd prefer seeing... I know you didn't want to see the Blues on a Friday, but I want an Adelaide game, but Adelaide Oval. I think this would be a better clash. And then you can have... who'd you say? Suns, Dons. And then just Suns can play, the Bombers. I think that makes more sense. You don't reckon the Dogs deserve a Friday night game? Well, it's all opinion based, I guess, on whether you think they do or not. I don't think the Dogs are going to be bad next year. I think they're going to be up there, whether they'll be top 4, whatever it is. They'll at least be wildcard. So I think the Dogs are always entertaining to have on a prime time. They always play all right. They've been involved in some pretty good games as well. The last 3 gather rounds, actually, they've been involved in. They haven't had a win yet, but they've been in pretty much every game. So what clubs does that leave out? That leaves out Richmond, who had this time slot last year, and who else does that leave out? Adelaide. Got to go through all the teams now. Essendon, no, they're there. Gold Coast are there. Hawks, we've put them there. North. 2 Vic clubs have never played together at the Barossa Park before. So that'll be a little bit weird. Because normally what it is with Gather Round, it's normally a Vic club v interstate club. You don't normally get interstate v interstate and Gather Round. There are very few games I can remember. Freo Gold Coast was one. Sydney v West Coast was another. And Gold Coast Giants. Last year we didn't get an interstate club play another interstate club. Richmond North would be kind of crap. Well, it's this 12:05 Barossa Park game. At least it could be sort of close. But also, this isn't a very good game either. It's not that exciting. So you could change it around. Maybe. What about Richmond GWS? You'd have to change the initial time slot. Maybe Richmond GWS 4:40, but then having Freo play North couldn't work either because of the whole Perth crap. So Freo can't really play North, could they? I don't reckon it's perfect. I mean, I think when people are creating fixtures for Gather Round and all that, there's always going to be opinions that people want to like make changes and all that. You can't really have it perfect. I'll leave it as it is. I might even make a post tomorrow or someday, maybe Tuesday. I'm not sure when. See what the people think online. I could make changes to it potentially, but yeah, unless I see some really strong arguments for me to change games, I might leave it. I'll just leave it. So what was round one again? Round one was... I'm not sure about the West Coast St Kilda game. All the other games I'm not too angry about. I actually kind of like the first bunch, but this one I just don't know. It could be a non-West Coast home game. Sunday 3:10 will be Essendon home. Well, it doesn't matter, mate, because it's not a home game for either club. It's a neutral game. So it doesn't count towards home and away records. Not even like for Adelaide or Port. That wouldn't count towards their home records either. Maybe Gold Coast v Geelong. Well, Gold Coast playing Geelong opening round, Brian. So, you know, that'd be too short with a gap. You're not going to have an opening round, Gather Round game be the same. And it's also probably not the best fixture. I think Geelong deserve AO, and you probably don't play Gold Coast. I heard a rumour, Freo play Suns round 1 Elim rematch. Probably won't happen. I want it to happen. But I didn't know how they're going to go about having the whole fixture in Perth and all that, so that's why I changed it. But I actually want that to happen. If it's been a rumour, where'd you see it? I might look it up after the stream. I'll wrap the stream up now, though. I'd be better off ending it now and thinking of some fun streams for next week, because yeah, like we're getting into the off season now. There's not as much to talk about footy wise, so we might have to start doing some different stuff. I was thinking, well, the next if I do cricket again, I'd probably do BBL Gades games and maybe a couple of just chilling, watching the Ashes, like every now and then. Probably not very often. Don't they already play in Perth? Freo. What are you trying to say? West Coast Sydney round 1. Yeah, it could happen. Like you're gonna end up getting a couple crap games, and that would be one of them. I would say if Sydney to play West Coast, I would say it'd be at the SCG. Well, I could be wrong though. Richard says Essendon v North at Norwood, Richmond v Gold Coast at Barossa. Richmond v Gold Coast at the Barossa. That does make more sense. That does actually probably make a bit more sense. Because, I don't know, it just feels like that matchup. I just feel like Gold Coast at Norwood Oval in that time slot. It's probably just because we haven't seen it. Just search Big Footy 20... Oh, it's just a random person's predicted fixture. If he hasn't got any like contacts or any like inside information, then how's he gonna know any different, like any more than anyone else? So he'd probably just be guessing. Because I'm almost certain I saw something similar the other day, unless this was like posted today. It's just a random prediction. I actually don't think they'll play a game at Optus round 1, but I could be wrong. Anyways, I want to post. I want to post content tomorrow, so let's see if that'll happen. Hopefully, it does. Yeah, Lachlan, I might give that. I might have
have a check out that when I get the chance to. Cricket 26 streams. I can't play the game. I just find that content boring. I've got another stream series planned instead for video games that'll be more interesting. So I'll get that off the ground hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Have opening round. Yeah. I made a post of it if you follow me on Instagram. I reckon if people are wondering what like the dates are, I'll tell you what the dates would be. I'll read them out. Sydney v Carlton Thursday. It'll be Brisbane v Bulldogs on the Friday night. Then I reckon it'll probably be Gold Coast Geelong twilight, and then Giants Hawthorn Saturday night, and then it's St Kilda Collingwood at the G. So something different. They've added an extra game back, like having a game in Melbourne. It could be Seb. I hope it gets delayed to Tuesday. All right, thanks all for watching. Try and get back into streaming, hopefully consistently more so. Yeah, the more consistent you are, I guess, the more people are gonna join. That's just the way it is. All right.